Deja vu all over again. Well, would you look at that? You know, we just got a new lumber package. Do you know why? Because we're starting all over again.
Yes, we are.
From scratch. And we're very excited about it.
We're so excited. Yeah, so last time when all of these lumber bundles arrived, we had no idea what we were getting ourselves into. This time, we know exactly what we are getting ourselves into, and it is definitely a little intimidating.
So obviously all of this is here for our upcoming garage/apartment build, and while we are very excited to see all this stuff arriving, seeing it sitting here, and like Melissa said, just knowing what it is we have ahead of ourselves, it's stressful, if I'm being totally honest. Very, very stressful.
Yeah, it's stressful, but exciting. And we are starting the garage apartment build this week. So we were planning on starting it today, although last week we got the wrong trim for the pump house, so we had to go get the right trim. Then we had to take everything off and then put everything back on. So we're a couple days behind on the pump house. We're gonna wrap that up and then we're gonna get started on the garage.
At least the sun's out. It's warm, right? No snow. Build season is here. Hey Mama, before we get to work, and as you get your sweatpants put on there, I got a little something to show you, a little surprise.
You brought me a surprise?
It's not for you, it's for me. Nevaeh and I went shopping and I got myself a little something.
Is it socks?
It's not socks, but it's something that was also very long overdue, like the socks.
What about socks?
It's a new tool belt.
Oh, look at you.
The other one's had it. It's been 3 years. We've been through a lot together. It's time to let it go. Time to let it go.
Is that how you feel about things you've had around for a while?
Not how I roll in my marriage, but when it comes to tool belts and other tools, yeah, no.
There you go, new build, new belt.
Nice, right? Yeah, I figured we got a lot ahead of us. It was time.
And the cap keyed in your old one.
That too.
I took a walk in California and I knew I'd never be the same again. Turn back the clock, I gave my mind a different frame. Let the mountains call my name again. It's a start, further right in the rain. Gonna see it carry to the end. Make a mark, unafraid to take a chance.
In our last video, when we were working on the shed, we were dealing with just the wainscoting and also the upper portion of the outer walls that fall underneath the eaves. Because of that, we didn't have any angled cuts, but because today and probably tomorrow we are working under this gable and pretty much everything's going to be an angled cut. So we went ahead and got our J-trim set against our soffit boards, taking a series of measurements at either edge, going off of the guidance provided by all of our lower panels. We'll make all those angled cuts and cross our fingers, smooth sailing for the rest of the day.
Dark nights or sunny days, honey, you don't have to be afraid. I'm here with you always, just be here with me. Dead broke, a millionaire, I take them both long as you're there. Together without a care, you are all I need. I've tried and tried and tried all kinds of sizes, but none of them were tailored just for me. But I can't deny, there's no surprise that the part I need is just your missing piece. Oh, so hot, a pouring rain, neither one could last always. You're my shelter and my shade, just be here with me.
Every time you wreck the shot.
We go like hand in hand, like trading rings and silver bands, like you and all of my life's plans. We fit perfectly, oh, we fit perfectly.
All right, it's up. Tight.
Right.
It's almost too tight.
No,
Like the other side.
It looks good.
Okay.
All right.
Screw it up and then done for the day.
Yeah, I think so. The weather's getting a little iffy and the kids have youth group today.
As the sun comes out.
The weather's iffy, I swear. We can't Are you driving them or am I?
I'm taking them. I can't do that and build a shed, so I guess this is gonna be the last one for the day. We'll pick things up tomorrow, huh?
Yeah. Two videos back, I was rinsing some sprouts and then I got this flood of requests of people wanting to see how I grow sprouts indoors. So I do this year round. It's very, very simple to do. It's only a couple steps and I'm just gonna kind of spread this throughout the video because I wanna show you guys in real time how it plays out. So for day one, I'm gonna show two different methods. The mason jar method, these are alfalfa sprouts, and the tray method, this is wheatgrass. It doesn't matter what kind of sprouts you're doing for the tray or for the mason jar, it's the same method. Growing sprouts in the mason jar is a very great place to start. It's really easy. You need a 1-quart jar and then you need the screen sprouting lids. You can get these on Amazon. Take your favorite sprouts. Alfalfa sprouts are a great place to start. 1 tablespoon, fill with 1 cup of cool water and let rest overnight. For sprouting in a tray, this sometimes is easier because it's not all bunched up in a mason jar. It definitely takes up a little bit more room and you need to buy these trays. So all you do for step 1 is remove the screen, which you're going to be using tomorrow. Take your seed, this is wheatgrass seed. I just spread it along the bottom and then I fill that with cold water and I let it rest overnight. If you start your sprouts in the morning, just go ahead and make sure that you let them soak for at least 6 hours. If you're starting them in the evening time, just let them soak overnight. I have a much better sprout rate when I really let them soak for a long time, and that is it. That is how you start the sprouts. I will show you guys tomorrow what step 2 is.
I was born to roam, never finding my way home. And all the world's mine, not wasting any
Little spy master. We've been doing some figuring out and we have a little minor complication because we are working with metal and I wasn't thinking ahead. So what we ended up doing was, because we have a break in the bottom portion of the wall with our wainscoting, we have a little tiny piece that was plugged in at the very end. We have a break with the door and we basically picked up where we left off with a fresh panel on the opposite side of the door. Because of that, now that we're working up and over and around the door, all of the ribs on our metal are not going to meet up perfectly. They're not going to align properly, which of course is going to bug me and look really weird.
Yeah, so it can't look like that. You have to have them lined up, and we didn't space it properly when we just plugged in that little section down there.
Inexperience is the first time we're doing an entire building in metal, so you live, you learn. We're going to fix it. I think what we're going to have to do is we're going to have to unsecure all of these wainscot panels on the bottom portion of the wall on the right side of the door. We're going to slide those out, make some cuts so that everything is properly aligned, which is going to leave us with a small little patch at the very end of the wall.
It is that time of the morning where I used to be making a second pot of coffee to try to ward off the crash from the first pot of coffee, but now I have discovered athletic greens, and not only am I not having a third, sometimes a fourth cup of coffee, but I have also been able to eliminate all those expensive multivitamins that I used to buy and seldom take. AG1 is not only a daily ritual that's easy to follow, but it's something that I actually look forward to. It is so simple to make. It is just a single scoop, 8 ounces of water, dump that in, shake it up, and I am good to go. Athletic Greens is a perfect all-in-one greens powder packed with 75 vitamins, minerals, and whole food source superfoods and probiotics in one simple daily serving. I also love that Athletic Greens supports your gut health, which also supports your immune system. It makes you feel better, it gives you better energy, better recovery, and all of that has been so helpful throughout our build. Athletic Greens is also extremely transparent. Everything is listed right here on the label, which is very helpful if you have anyone in your family with dietary restrictions like our family. To check out Athletic Greens for yourself, just click the link down in the description below and you will get a year's worth of the D3K2 plus 5 free travel packs with your first purchase. This is an absolute game changer for your immune system. AG1 provides your body with everything that it needs for optimal performance every single day. Athletic Greens is going to give our community a free immune supporting year of the vitamin D plus the 5 free travel packs with your first purchase. Jeremy is securing the last piece on the pump house. It would have been the last piece of the day, but now you guys can really see what we were talking about when we went up and around the door, how the ribs are not lining up on the front. They line up down the sides and along the back, and that's the way that it's supposed to look. So we're off by a few inches, so we're going to need to undo all of the bottom pieces and slide them down and make sure that all of the ribs are nice and lined up.
You think we're just sliding these down then?
Yeah, I think we should just slide it down, take this one off, trim it, and then put a piece over here. Good as new. I never want to see the panels off this building again. Nunca!
Well, it was a struggle, but we're getting there. Corners tomorrow.
It looks so plain now. Okay, day 2 of seed sprouting. Once your seeds have been soaking all night, it is time to drain out the water. You're going to very carefully tip it on its side and make sure all the seeds don't fall into the strainer. After I get most of the water out, I just kind of rotate the jar like this. That way the seeds can just kind of spread around, and then I set it up on its top like that so any excess water can run out, and that is literally it for the mason jar. The easiest way to drain the tray is just to take your strainer here, dump all of the seeds and water right onto the tray, and then just kind of take your fingers and spread out those seeds so they've got some room. Once your seeds are nice and evenly spread out, all you're going to do is add a couple inches to your bottom tray. Your seeds should not be submerged in the water. You just want to add a little moisture into your tray. Then you're going to put your lid on like that, and you're just going to let it sit for about 2 days until you see a lot of sprouts start to grow.
The final part of this shed build is going to be to get all of our corners cut and put up. I'm a little nervous about it because there are a series of angles and a very just intricate cuts that I need to make all the trims kind of fit together. So we'll take these outside. This is going to be the last thing, with the exception of having to paint the door. Melissa and I were talking, now that all of our siding is up on the shed, the door looks horrible. It stands out. The white kind of blended in with all the vapor barrier before. So that'll be the final thing we have to do. But in the meantime, this is going to be it. It's going to be a little long. We'll get it kind of roughly set in place and tucked, and then we're going to have some channels to cut here in the middle.
Will you meet me in the morning?
Let's give it a shot. First time, what do you think?
It's gonna fit.
Come on.
All your worries get gone.
How's that look? Very nice.
Yesterday and now it's changed. Everything's alright, it's okay. Give me your love, God, and I wanna give you all the love that I got. Give you all the love, give you all the love, give you all the love that I got.
Jeremy is getting some of the last measurements done on the pump house, and I'm checking on the kids. They are doing some garden cleanup. So I can't believe that spring is upon us. I can't believe that this lumber package has arrived. So Jeremy and I have really been talking about our goals for this build. 2 years ago this week, we started on the house, and it was just nowhere on our radar at that time that we would not only be done with the house 2 years later, but that we would be starting a new residential build. So this build is different for us because we're not living in a barn, and we're not going to be pushing through the summer and not having any time to go to the beach and go hiking and do all of those fun things that we moved out here to do. And so we're going to pace ourselves. We're going to definitely prioritize getting the apartment all dried in before winter, but at the same time we really want to focus on gardening, on our animals, on our kids, on fun this summer. So we're going to kind of combine the summer and try to balance out our lives a little bit better this time.
Our second corner trim piece is mocked up on the building here. I already went ahead and cut the top. Looks like all of our angles are going to work out great there. It actually tucks into the top J trim that we have set up. The bottom aligns and sits flat on that bottom trim, and then for this center trim here that breaks up the wainscoting from our main body color, basically all I'm doing is once I have it mocked up, I make a couple marks, take everything back to our workstation, cut this section out here so that the J trim actually fits really nicely and just tucks back into that corner, makes for a really clean look.
The back two corners went exceptionally well, and so that always makes me a little excited and also a little nervous because we always say that we're going to start on all of the back cuts for practice.
Yeah.
But then by the time we move to the front, we've wasted all the good cuts on the back.
On. No fade.
And the front just goes downhill from there. But today we're not going to do that. Today, those front corners are going to go perfectly.
Yeah.
Now that we are finally done with the pump house, it feels incredible to be able to say that. We are going to do something that we've been meaning to do for about a week now. We've got 3 game cameras that we like to set in the springtime because we know this is the time that all of the bears are waking up. We know they're around, and so it's just a good idea to know exactly where they are. Jeremy's got his fanny pack, so you know things are getting serious. What's in your fanny pack? Oh, the game cameras. He just wanted to wear it.
Okay, that's one. All set, see how it does.
All right. Go on.
Should be good to go. So we've got what I think is deer and coyote tracks, old tracks at this point coming through here. So let's go down a little ways and we'll set up a camera there as well. We've made it back to the spot where we've previously set up game cameras, and actually the last time we managed to capture a grizzly bear on camera, it was in this very spot here. But that was in the late spring, or was it the fall? It wasn't the fall.
It was fall, yeah.
So I'm not really seeing any tracks in the snow here yet, but it's still very early in the season. So I think we're gonna try to keep looking and find a better spot with just more action.
Where are we going?
We're exploring.
There's parts of our land that we've just never even been on.
No, we own all this, but it's very rare that we come back here.
I've never been back here. Okay, so now we found these round prints. They're pretty big. And there's a bunch of them. I mean, they're bigger than my hand. So I'm gonna say small black bear possibly has emerged, so good place to set up the camera.
Well, it's been a lot of fun. We've been wandering around back here in this area that we really don't explore all too often, and we got our game camera set up. We found a bunch of tracks, and it's just really neat to see the animal activity in the area. You're kind of oblivious to it when you're in the house, not getting out much, but
yeah,
fun to see, fun to come out, navigate this.
I know, it's kind of crazy to see all the activity out here. So now that we have the game camera set up, we'll check those in a couple days. Do I have pine needles in my hair?
A little bit. It's been quite the trek. But
now it's time to focus on the next big build.
It's time, let's get started.
The last time that we stood in front of a huge pile of lumber, we had no idea what we were getting ourselves into. But we needed a home, so we worked each and every day for over 2 years to rebuild what we had left behind. Through 3 long winters and 2 hot summers, we often said no to fun and free days and to rest. In the end, we did complete the home that we set out to build. And we are so deeply grateful for the faith and the fortitude that made that happen. But this time, we're going to do it better. Not better in the way of nails and boards, but better in an immensely different sense. This time, we're going to pace ourselves. We're going to go for walks and tend to our gardens and actually enjoy the summers that we wait so long for. This time, we aren't going to be so busy building our lives that we don't afford ourselves the freedom to actually live them.